Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Post Frame Podcast. In today's episode, I'm back with Blair, and we're going to talk about tariffs. All right, Blair, so we're going to talk about tariffs.
Tariffs?
Tariffs.
Really?
Yes.
We talked about zoning another time.
Zoning
that probably put some people to sleep.
You're boring everybody.
Yeah, it probably did.
Hopefully tariffs don't do the same thing.
I don't think so.
It's a little bit of a bigger news piece.
It is. It's fresh in everybody's
Right.
memory right now.
Right
so
now.
I think
So-
we'll be. So, what actually is a tariff?
Oh, jeez. I took some economics courses, but
Yeah.
let's go to old Chat GPT.
Oh, you're going to use chat?
See,
Oh, okay.
Right. So this is saying a tariff is a tax on imported goods. It could be exported, right? When you talk in general.
Yep.
Right now, the big news is on imported stuff, right? Because we're imposing tariffs as U.S.
Mhm.
Tariffs increase the price of imported goods, making them more expensive. Tariffs protect domestic industries, right? So our industries where we have production here in the U.S. protects them from unfair competition. And tariffs raise revenue for governments.
Okay.
So enough said, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Just easy.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody.
So, yeah, I mean, if you put that in the context of what's going on now, right?
Yeah.
You know, as the U.S., with the Trump administration, we've imposed and then paused some tariffs on our neighbors, right? Canada and Mexico.
They owe us a lot of money, and I'm sure they're going to pay.
They're paused for the moment. The most recently, though, on I think it was the 10th or 11th of February, some of the steel and aluminum tariffs got put back on to imported steel and aluminum products into the U.S. And so if you think about it, so let's talk about Canada, right, and lumber. Those lumber mills or those lumber producers, in order to sell their product to a customer in the U.S., they are imposed a tax. Right?
So we're putting that tax on that.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a U.S. imposed tax on a foreign producer, right, selling stuff to a buyer here in the homeland.
Okay.
Right, in the U.S. To get that wood into the U.S., they have to pay, it's been talked about 25% or whatever the tariff is that's been imposed. And so with a tariff, that increases your costs as a business or a producer providing a product. And so you pass that along in some fashion.
Right.
Right? So if I'm Canada.
Oh, so you are with AAA? Oh, no, that's AAA. I just came from AA, eh? Huh?
And I'm producing lumber and you're a buyer, a builder, right? Or somebody in the U.S. What just happened to that lumber you were buying is it just went up.
Yeah. Because
I'm going to try to put as much of that extra tax or that extra cost into the price of my goods so I don't essentially make my business falter. Right. Because of that. So now what you were buying yesterday, today costs more. Right. So as a customer, what are you going to do? Or as someone who's been buying something that then now jumps up in price, what are you likely going to do at that point?
Well, I mean, I know I would probably shop around.
Yeah.
You're
You're going to look for probably some alternative options.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why the point of a tariff is to help buyers. You're a buyer in the U.S. in this example, right? Is to help buyers, local, right, U.S. buyers, to look at alternatives, and hopefully they land at an internal producer as the next best alternative to where they were buying it from, right? Meaning a U.S.-based lumber mill or a U.S.-based steel producer, right?
Right.
For the product that just got a tariff put on it. But it may not be the most competitive thing for the end user. There's a reason you were buying Canadian lumber for a long time before the tariff, right? Because it's probably it's better quality. There's more mass production so that the cost is lower, right? There's a lot of factors for that supply chain, but you were buying it for a reason. So now you got to look elsewhere, which isn't to say that that's a lesser grade product. It's just, it's probably a little bit of a higher cost. Otherwise you would have been buying that alternative all along.
Correct.
Right. But anyways, does that make sense? How
Yeah.
that trickle down effect happens of, okay, I place a tariff because, in Trump's case, he's trying to get some things done around a few different issues, right? One being immigration and some others. So he imposes a tariff, and that ultimately means prices are going to go up.
Right.
Maybe not to the whole degree of what the tariff is, right? This 25% has been thrown around of like, oh my goodness, right? It does. It's not that 1-to-1, right? Because that tariff has to work its way through the supply chain.
Right.
And so it doesn't necessarily mean that percentage is like $100,000 building today is not 125,000, right? 25% more
25%, yep.
tomorrow, right? So it's not that drastic, but it does mean it will change. That is a known thing.
Okay.
Because I think we even did a video about this. You had me in some Star Trek thing on the...
Oh, yeah, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
That shows you how much I know my space movies. And we did a video about predicting when all this was starting to come, even like before the end of the year, I think.
Yeah, we did.
As it was, I think it was right after the election, right? We saw that Trump was going to be put in office.
Yep.
All the things that were being talked about that were going to be imposed. And we kind of did a predictive video.
Yeah, you did.
And I think our call or our cry at that time was, hey, when all these things come to bear, it's going to mean a higher price on the thing you want to build.
Right. Which is kind of still where we're at today, right? I mean, you're saying it's still now. If you're going to build, now is the time to do it. Right?
Yes.
Because the price is still going to increase.
Absolutely. But the impact has already started.
So I think the last thing I'd like to cover for this, what is it going to take? What is it going to take?
I think I know where you're going.
What is it going to take for these prices to come down?
Oh, jeez.
What's it going to, or are they going to come down?
This crystal ball is a little hazier.
Okay.
But I do have a theory on this.
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah. I can now that I said theory, I can only imagine what your thumbnail thing is going to be.
Oh, man.
You're gonna grab some conspiracy thing.
I could do some. Have you? I don't know if you're a Simpsons guy. You know the Simpsons?
Not much. I know who they are.
You should look into that, man. They do a lot of conspiracies and
of what they did in an episode.
Yes.
Of what actually comes to bear.
Some of the stuff is crazy.
I'm going to look like Bart Simpson on the front of your thumbnail.
Ay, caramba!
A theory on what would it take for stuff to come down.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have to be pretty catastrophic.
Okay.
Because so let's think about this.
Are we talking like zombie apocalypse or
no?
Not that
far? Catastrophic.
Okay.
But the normalcy of how we're living right now would be very different. So if you think about the level of consumption right now, right? Prices are a factor of supply and demand, right? And so for prices to go down, if we just think about economics 101, one of those two things, right? Your price point is dictated by where supply and demand meet, right? Where they equalize. For prices to go down, one of those two things has to shift in some direction.
Okay.
Either supply goes up, meaning there's a ton more production, right? All of a sudden, overnight, factories and lumber mills, steel mills, right, related to our business, they all of a sudden, their capacity to produce and how much they produce, the supply they put onto the market just goes up. And demand hasn't really shifted that much. Right? That's the other thing is you got to hold one constant. If I hold demand constant, right, we're consuming at similar rates. The only way price is going to come down is if all of a sudden there's a bunch of efficiency technology that just allows these mills to produce a massive delta more than they have been. What are we expecting to happen? And I think we got to pull at those threads a little bit more than just, well, I'm optimistic about this thing, so that means I should wait because there will be a better day to do this in a few months from now.
Right.
Well, is that really true? What would have to happen for that all to take place? That's my hope that people hear in this is that like pull at that thread a little bit more. Like why would that be the case? And what's more likely? Right? To me, what's more likely to happen is people don't just stop buying stuff, especially if their economic position doesn't drastically shift, right? So if there's some stability in the economy right now and our consumption is going to stay pretty similar, and there's tariffs and there's things happening to supply and the cost of goods, I'm still in the same predictive spot. We've just already realized it a little bit, and there's more to come of things are going to continue to go up.
Okay.
So it's in my opinion, a long shot if you're still waiting on the better day of lower prices.
Okay. So like,
sorry to burst your bubble.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Man,
you seem really depressed.
I'm a little depressed now. It's like you said, it's still February. I hate, I hate
know.
February. Now you depress me with that.
That's right. I just burst your balloon.
Thought there was going to be a zombie apocalypse, and you said no.
I didn't
to
go
that.
that far.
I know.
I know you want to be a zombie killer. But
I do. Yes, I do.
That's maybe your thumbnail for this,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Walking
Dead.
or
Yeah.
something.
There you go. Okay.
Anyways,
Hopefully, the next podcast we film with you, we can hit some of those predictions, and we'll see if you were right.
yeah, I was right last time.
You were.
It's already started, right? So I think I'm going to be right again.
All right.
Unfortunately. So get your building project going ASAP.
Build now.
That's right.
All right. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, thanks, TJ.
Thanks.